Hello and welcome to Start Now with Linda show, and I am your host, Linda Adamowski. So for all of you who are watching this live or maybe watching this in the future, a little bit about myself. I have been a financial planner for 13 years, and I've also studied so many things around money. I've read books about money. I've taken classes on money and energy and how we think about money. So today I want to talk about debunking the myths and lies of money and some of the things that we heard growing up that our parents and grandparents just spit out that could be hindering our ability to create more money and have more money and be more money. And it's almost like a brainwashing. It's set into our head and we believe it. And so we're going to look at getting rid of those and debunking them, giving you something, a little different point of view to look at. But first, have you ever wondered what wealthy people sit around and talk about that's different than what broke people talk about? So first of all, broke people say things like, I can't do that right now. I have to wait till the end of the month till I get more money, or I have to wait till next paycheck, or I just don't have the money to do that. And it's all centered around never having enough and not having enough and not being able to have the life they would really like to have, or maybe they wouldn't like to have because they're certainly not having it. But it is a totally different conversation than what wealthy people. I can't imagine that Richard Branson would ever say, I have to wait till the end of the month when I have more money. Or other wealthy people that their focus is not on the lack of money, but what they can create with money and what realities they could change with money and the people and groups that they could help and assist with money. And so it's totally different energy and with money than the people who are broke and functioning from lack. So one of the have you ever heard the phrase, your thoughts create your reality? What you think about, you bring about. And when we are in constant lack mode, I don't have enough money, there's never enough, I can't make, how am I going to make it till the end of the month? Can you feel that in your body where it's like, oh, it feels like a punch in the gut? And so what feels heavy for you is always a lie. It's like shackles on. If you were on the show last week, I talked about money and how the mind and body connection. So when you say things that feel icky or heavy or like shackles on in your body, there's a lie attached to it. If you say things that make you smile or laugh or feel really light or like bubbles, that's what's true for you. It could not be true for everybody, but it's what's true for you. So even as I'm saying all of these lack statements, I can feel it in my body, and my body's going, I don't like that. Whereas if we're saying things like that bring a lightness out, it's true. So what are some things around money that you could be saying or thinking or being that would have that lightness? It's like gratitude is one way. How does it make you feel? Have you ever been through a Tim Hortons, so that's for us Canadians, Tim Hortons lineup and paid for a coffee or the order for someone in the car behind you? I haven't. It feels amazing, like you are walking on air for the rest of the day. And it's those random acts of kindness that you can do with money that you can't do with, I have to wait till the end of the month, that bring out the true essence of you. So let's debunk some of these fallacies that we heard growing up. So money doesn't grow on trees. No, it probably doesn't. Not the money we have today. I think it's more plastic and um, created by a machine that it is growing on trees. And I grew up in Manitoba where grain and cattle was the commodity. So no, it didn't grow on trees, but you sold the cattle and the grain and converted it into money that you purchased the other things that you needed. I now live in the Okanagan, and if you don't know where that is, it's beautiful British Columbia. It's an incredibly beautiful area with orchards and fruit trees and vineyards and wineries, and it's absolutely beautiful here. And really, when you look at living in an orchard or a vineyard, the money really does grow on trees, because you take that to market or create wine with it and it turn it into money. So totally different concept, and yet trees, the money doesn't grow on trees. What if trees are your ideas, your dreams, your vision for what you want to create in this world and what you'd like to change about this world? And if you are functioning from lack, you would never believe that you could develop those dreams and those trees and take them to harvest and create money and then have the choices and the freedom to buy that Tim Hortons for the person behind you. Money is the root of all evil is the most misquoted quote, which is actually from the Bible, and the actual quote is, the love of money is the root of all evil. And this is a really touchy subject, because it almost tells us that for many, many centuries and generations, we've been told that having money is something to be guilty about. It's something to not have pride in. It's something to be frowned upon, the love of money. And so, yes, greed is not a very positive emotion. However, the love of money is telling us that we are greedy. What if that's not the case? What if the people who have money aren't even showing it? You would never know that they had money. What if they create so many things for so many people and change lives on a daily basis? They invent things that improve our lives. So it's again a brainwashing that makes us feel that lack is more honorable and not having money is more honorable than having money. I don't know about you, but I think I'd rather sit in the prosperity seat than the lack seat. So another one is pinch your pennies and the dollars will grow. Well, being frugal is fine. Being aware of what you're purchasing and what the actual cost of it is. Are you overpaying for something? Are you, looking for perhaps something that's underpriced at garage sales or markets? That's all well. That's great. That's awesome. People have built businesses. I know someone who that is her hobby. She and her husband go to garage sales and markets, and they bring home things and they repurpose them and they sell them and make a profit. Lots of people do it. They have TV shows about it. So that is perfectly awesome to be frugal in that way, or know the value of antiques and things. Being frugal to the point that you miss an opportunity because you have to hang on to every dollar and penny that you have, that's not okay. That is lack mentality. And money is an energy, as I said last week. Money is an energy. It needs to be flowing at all times. And the more it flows, the more it creates. And the more it creates, the more you have. And the more you have, the more you can create with it. And the more you can gift and change realities with it. So being frugal to the point of closed-mindedness is not okay. Money can't buy you happiness. Well, honestly, happiness is a choice. It's not a commodity. It's a choice that you make every single day when you get up out of bed, you either put a smile on and be grateful that you woke up that morning, or you go into your grumbling, stub the toe, and continue on with that kind of day. Money has nothing to do with happiness. There are poor people who are extremely happy and grateful, and there are wealthy people who are extremely unhappy and not grateful. The two do not go hand in hand. So no, it can't buy you happiness. I'd rather be happy than rich. Well, again, it's a choice. You can be happy and poor, and you can be happy and rich, or you can be miserable and poor and miserable and rich. But what money does give you is a roof over your head. It gives you the freedom to choose other things. It gives you food on the table. It gives you the hope for a future. It gives you open-mindedness to possibilities, and stress bills paid stress-free. And it gives you the chance to change other people's realities, whether it's a waitress or a homeless person, or the family down the road that just lost their home to a fire, or lost their bread earner, or whatever it is, or just the random act of kindness by changing someone's reality with money. And you can't do that without it if you are living in Brokeville and living with the mentality of lack, that there's never enough. There is enough. And so if we change our points of view around money, that there is enough, and we start changing our energy around money, we will change our receiving of money. There is actually a really good book written by Gary Douglas of Access Consciousness called Money Isn't the Problem, You Are. You don't have a money problem, you have a receiving problem. And I would venture to take that a step further, a receiving problem and a gratitude problem. So if you are grateful for every day that you have breath, and you are able to receive the gifts from this universe, the gifts that you have and be, and the gifts that money can bring you, I think that you would have a totally different energy around money and energy around your life, and more and more and more would come to you. And I wonder if you've been keeping track of, last week I asked you to keep track of things that came to you that weren't actual money, like an invitation to dinner out, or you renewed your insurance on your vehicle like I did and saved about $400. Things that aren't actual cash in hand but have a monetary value. And if you start tracking those and keep a journal of things, that how grateful you are for the things that are coming to you, I wonder how much more would come to you. I'm just not good with money. That's an excuse. That is seriously lack mentality and excuse. There are so many books out there. I have 5 of them sitting here right now beside me, books on money. And there is a book that I read many years ago and then reread about a year ago by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it gives you a totally different concept of money. He talks about, as a young boy, learning about money from his father, who was a professor in a university who never had money and penny pinched everything, and believed that to have more money you had to work more hours. And his friend was so this young boy's friend, his dad was who he called his rich dad. And this man didn't have the fanciest home, didn't drive the fanciest car, had thread-worn carpets in his house, and you would have thought that he would have been the poor man out of the two, yet he taught this young boy about money and the different concepts of how to create more money and how to have lasting money and how to be the energy of money so you attract more money to you. I highly recommend the book. So Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki. I listened to it on Audibles as well as reading the book. You'll want to highlight a lot of stuff and go back and read it and over and over. And also the book by Gary Douglas, Money Isn't the Problem, You Are. You have a receiving problem. There's also a book, How to Get Out of Debt, Stay Out of Debt, and Live Prosperously. It's about living beyond your means and getting rid of your debt. The origin of the word debt was to die, and you went to debtor's prison. So what if you called your debt, so credit card debt, line of credit debt, whatever that may be, past expenditures? So if you're living beyond your means and you're buying bright, shiny objects and putting them on a credit card, those are past expenditures, and you're going to be paying for them in the future. Now, how does that feel in your body? Does that feel like another punch in the gut? And so if you refer to them as your past expenditures, how long is it going to take you to pay for those past expenditures, that bright, shiny object? Or how much interest will you have paid on that fancy meal out if you didn't pay that credit card off at the end of the month? So that $100 meal now could be costing you $120 or $130 or $150 or even more, depending how long it takes you to pay off that past expenditure. So have a look at that as well. There's another book that I've started reading, Barefoot Investor. Now this is based out of Australia, so some of the stuff is a little off when he talks about superannuation and stuff for us in Canada. The concepts are the same, and it's an incredible book as well, and it's funny. So bring humor in with your learning, and you can no longer say, I'm just not good with money. You're just not good with learning and changing your points of view with money. So you have to work hard to be wealthy. Is that true? How does that sit in your body? I have to work really hard to be wealthy. Is there evidence of people out there who didn't work hard? They actually had fun at what they were doing. Follow your dream and the money will follow. Money follows joy, all of those kinds of things. So what if your labor of love, your joy, your dream, your vision isn't work? It's fun for you. And money just follows along beside it. Follow your dreams. I think I talked last week about how people don't dream. They have no vision. They have no concept of what they can create if they really dream and set their mind to it and put their vision into action. And I promise you the money will follow. So the lessons about money, we didn't have a class, right after history on how to manage money and what money really was and what commodities were and how to balance a checkbook. We didn't learn that in school. Honestly, that should be right up there with English and math before history. We have to understand what money is, because we have these crazy notions, these myths that have been passed down generation over generation on what money is. So what is money to you? What comes up for you? What is money? What is money to me? Is it stress? Is it lack? There's never enough? I have to wait till the end of the month for more of it. I can't get my hands on any of it. Or is money, luxurious vacations and having whatever you want whenever you want it and being able to pay cash for it? Is money having money in your wallet at all times? Is money putting away 10% of everything that comes into your life as an honoring of you and an honoring of money? Is money just being able to pay for the person's coffee that's behind you in the Tim Hortons lineup? Or is money giving a sandwich to a homeless person? What is money for you? Is money buying something for someone just because feels good for you to gift it to them. So what is money to you? What does money mean to you? Does it mean hardship? Does it mean joy? So all of these things are so many different ways of looking at money, and it really is just about how you look at it and changing it just a tiny degree and taking tiny steps. So in Barefoot Investor, there's a quote, and I can't remember who the quote is from, but it says, the best time to 20 years ago was the best time to plant a tree. The second best time is today. So if you haven't started planning for your future or your retirement or your savings or your 10% for honoring you, if you haven't done that yet, today is an awesome day to do it. Today, March 20th. And if your concept of money, when I was a financial planner, I used to, when I talked to my clients, I'd say, you know, if the only financial planning you've done is to buy a lottery ticket, we need to talk. So I do money coaching with people. I help you get real with your money. Getting real with your money is so vital to be able to have and be more money. Do you know exactly to the penny what it costs you to live every single month? I can help you with that. And setting up systems on how to know where you are every single month, know what your income is. And it's super simple. I just have a little book that I write in every time I get paid for. I have several income sources, several businesses, and every time that money comes into my bank account, I write it in this little journal that I have. And so at the end of the month, I add them all up and I know exactly how much money I made that month. So at the end of the year, there's no guessing game. How much money did I make? I also do the same with expenses. So I help people get real with their money, and then we move on to fine tuning that and what can you change with your reality with money. So I ask you a lot of questions and we debunk these myths about money that aren't real. So if there is something in all of this that we've talked about this morning that has you thinking a little bit different about money, please share it. Please like it. Please comment on what your myth that you've heard from childhood is about money if I've missed it on my list. I'd love to hear what it is. And let's debunk it. Is it really true? How does it feel in your body? And let's change all of that, all of those lack mentality with money, all of those areas where money is knocking on your door and you're turning it away with the way you think and feel and the points of view and what you say about money. If money was your lover, would it stay with you when you're saying things like, I hate money and there's never enough and money is greedy people have money, so would it come calling? So thank you so much. Have an amazing, abundant, prosperous day, and we will talk again soon.